Hey guys, okay, so I wanted to do just a quick little video on selective edits in Lightroom because I think that this is something that's very, very important for you to know how to do. And it separates kind of the super professional photographers from just anybody with a camera. So it is important to learn to do. I had a Lightroom crash a second ago, so I think this is started. But what you want to do, you can see in here, this is a backlit situation, and in order to not completely blow everything out in the background, I underexpose it a little. So my people, who are what the whole picture is about, they're kind of underexposed. So I need to do an edit just to highlight them, but not affect all this brightness around it. So to do that, you come over here, and I'm in the Develop module. You can kind of see that at the top. You're going to click on this little brush, and it does still have what I started. You can look right here and see this pin, and when I hover over it, it shows you what I've already painted in red. I'm going to continue on with that, so I'm going to go ahead and select that pin. That way now when I brush, it's going to go and do that adjustment, that same one that I was working on. When you come over here, you've got all your normal sliders. Right now, I'm just worried about exposure, so I've got like everything set to 0 except I bumped the exposure up a little bit, and I added a little bit of contrast just because a lot of times in these areas, when you just do exposure, it kind of flattens them out, so I added that. Also down here, you can control your brush size. I also like to use my brackets on my keyboard. The left bracket makes it smaller. The right bracket will make your brush bigger. And then I like to keep this auto mask selected. And what that means is, like, when I hover over this, you can kind of see it's not spilling over the edges of my people. The auto masks helps to do that. It'll kind of try to help keep you in the lines so you don't get like a weird halo around stuff. So we are going to keep brushing. I made my brush a little bit bigger, so we're just going over all of this, their faces. I actually think I might need this to be a little bit brighter, but we'll get them brushed in here first and then nitpick once I get going. Again, if you ever want to see your area, hover over your pin there. See, like I missed a spot in there. Let's try again. Okay, that's pretty darn close. So I've kind of got that pin and that adjustment masked. They're definitely better. I would, though, like to see a little bit more brightness. So now I can just come over here, and you see how that is adjusting what I did. Obviously, that one was a little too far. So let's go in here. And from looking at this now, I feel like I may need to do an adjustment on these folks up front and some on the back, like to do two different types of adjustments. It's definitely something you have to play with and work at to get it the way you want. I'm seeing a little bit too much of these dark edges, so I just made my brush a little bit smaller, and I'm going to come in here and get those better. Again, trying to really get a clean mask is going to make a big difference on how professional of a job this looks. So I really like to nitpick at my edges. Gotta get this fella here. She's got a wonky thing going on, so we definitely need that. So again, my masking did a good job, but it almost over masked it, so I kind of have to go in here and clean them up a little bit more. Well, I'm not going to spend too much more time doing that. I may have to, this is actually isn't even going to be a final image, but so I've got it, but you guys can kind of see they look kind of flat now. And again, that's what that exposure or the contrast was supposed to be for over here. I can bump that contrast a little. I can always bring my blacks in to add some true shadows in there, like some blacks. Maybe I'll even pull my whites up to make just the kind of higher tones. So you can definitely see that looks a lot better than when I started. It probably still needs a little bit of work, but that's kind of the basics of a selective edit. Let's say I just want her to be brighter. What I would do is come over here to make a new one, and it's going to start me all over with a new brush, and I can kind of start doing what I want just with her. So that's the way it works. I hope this is helpful.